But I got money in the bank, gold in the safe, 30 in the clip, I got more in my waist. Done the whole shit, I can let it go to waste. Hold up. But I got money in the bank, gold in the safe, 30 in the clip, I got more in my waist. Done the whole shit, I can let it go to waste.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. Welcome to tonight's episode. I think it's episode 3 of I Read It on Reddit. That's right. We're going to be going over security guard questions. I'm going to give you my security guard answers. Let's get right to it. Number 1. Let me see if I can pull this up and actually see what it says. My eyesight's getting so bad. I'm getting old. It says, what do you guys think of the use of collapsible batons, such as the ASP or the Smith & Wessons, name a few? Do they still have a useful purpose, or are they an outdated tool? What are your thoughts? I am not a fan of batons at all. To be quite honest with you, man, I don't think they really have a place in terms of utilization in use of force. And the reason, it's not that they're not a good tool, because they are. They're great in terms of like pain compliance. They're a great force multiplier before going to something like a deadly use of force weapon, like a firearm. The only thing, and I know that people are gonna complain about this, is optics. No one wants to admit, but it's the optics of the situation. Most people in society, news organizations, social media, without the lack of context of why it's being used and the purpose that it serves, it just looks like you're beating someone. And there's no way around it, even though, there's a legitimate reason for it, a legitimate way to use it. It is a good tool. There's just no way around the optics of it. And I can't for the life of me really say that it's worth, there's that saying, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? And for me, that's where I'm at. Now, some great things that I think are awesome about batons, glass breakers. For me, working downtown around a lot of homeless people, if I have to move blankets or tents or clothing, that kind of stuff that can be, on property, you have to move it off property. If there's like soiled clothing or things like that, awesome for that. If you have a 2-foot baton and you can extend it and move things off, if you don't mind cleaning it afterwards, that to me is a great usage of that tool. But to use it for a defensive weapon, man, it's really hard to argue it. Okay, so I'm going to say nada on that. The next question, this one states that their policy says no rounds in the chamber. Let's see what this says. This has been the policy for as long as I know while working for my current employer. I personally do not agree with this policy, as it states that I cannot, hang on a second. It states that I cannot draw my weapon unless fired upon, even if the aggressor is wielding a knife or a gun. Okay. I need use of both of my hands to chamber a round, and it only takes a split second to lose your life in any possible scenario involving a knife or a gun. This just goes against my own instincts. I was expected to keep one chambered at my previous employer, which to me made sense. Of course it did. Is this a policy with your employers as well? Would love to hear any opinions on this. So that's called Israeli carry. The reason why they are most likely asking you to do this is the liability of a negligent discharge or an accidental discharge. What they're trying to do is provide armed officer service, but put you guys in a position where you're less likely to cause either an issue or potentially draw that firearm. The only thing is that, you have to still be able to protect yourself. And the policy of not drawing your firearm, not utilizing your firearm unless fired upon, that's putting you in a position where you really have to, that's just crazy to me. It's crazy. I understand the sentiment of where they're coming from. I get what they're trying to do. And what they're trying to do is mitigate any dumb shit. But by doing that, they're putting you in grave danger. And when I say grave danger, I mean grave danger, literally. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Number one. Number two, listen, you don't need to ask anybody if this officer were to ever, see this stream. You don't need to ask anybody if something like this is okay. You don't personally feel comfortable with this circumstance. You don't feel comfortable with this policy. You shouldn't work the location. You shouldn't work the contract. It's that simple, dude. Like, you don't need my permission or anyone else to tell you that this is stupid. You don't believe in it. You don't think that it's right. And we agree with you, man. Don't work this job if you don't have to. That's a bad policy that's putting you in grave danger. The next one, let's see if I can see it on this one. I gotta get like super close to this. It says employee handbook. Oh wait, that's the same one. All right, this is about quality gear. So I got a job at Loomis. I'm a guard in California, and I'm currently looking into gear. I'm fairly certain that they provide a vest. That's a good thing. Okay, so I'm just looking into a belt, boots, and a holster. I'm debating on whether or not I want to invest in high quality gear or not. At least the holster. I'm currently looking at a Safariland for the holster, but I'm kind of split on whether it's worth the price. I know the holster is worth the money relative to other holster on the market, but man, it's expensive. It's about $220. Currently, I don't even know how long I'll be in armed security. I have my degree in software, and I hope to switch jobs and get my freelance business moving. And I'm just using this job to pay the bills in the interim. I worry about people trying to snatch my gun. That's a good thing. Almost the same amount as grabbing the cash. I know I don't exude the capability, and I feel bad actors may think that they can grab my firearm from me. Okay. While I'm trained, 3 years of jiu-jitsu, and I'm a blue belt, 1 year of Muay Thai, I'd like to have equipment that I can trust. Ultimately, it'll be my decision, but wanted to see what other guards' opinions and experience was. Man, you don't want to skimp on your holster. There's a lot of things duty equipment wise that you can go cheap on. You do not go cheap on your holster. Always, in my opinion, I'm going to say go Safariland. And then when I say Safariland, I mean Safariland level 3. Make sure you're getting a level 3 retention holster, that has the locking system, everything that you need. Do not skimp on your holster at all. And on top of that, make sure that you're training in some gun retention. Shameless plug. I have an entire playlist on my page on gun retention that's taught by a former Army Ranger. Okay. So not only is it important for you to have top quality gear in terms of your holster, make sure that it's a level 3 retention holster, and then look into gun retention in terms of how to maintain that firearm. If you're already proficient in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, that's awesome, but definitely look into that playlist. If you don't want to look at my stuff, look at anybody's stuff on gun retention, because there's a certain technique that applies to gun retention in terms of maintaining your firearm that's a little bit different than just jiu-jitsu. There's aspects of the Kimura lock that are important, but there's so much more that's involved in it. So please make sure that you look into that while also purchasing the proper gear. All right, next question. What is the best and worst post you've ever had? Well, I like my location now. You guys know that I work for a large grocery retailer in downtown Portland. So I see all kinds of stuff, everything from homicides to overdose to, domestics. Like I'm right on a main thoroughfare, a very, I don't want to say downtrodden, but just an area that has a lot of things going on. So I get to see a lot of stuff. I like that location, but out of all the jobs that I've had, out of all the security that I've done, working for the pro wrestling organization in Pennsylvania, where I got to do, executive protection for the WWE wrestlers, that was probably one of my most favorite gigs, getting to hang out with Kevin Nash, getting to hang out with EC3, Al Snow, AJ Lee. Like, that was probably one of the coolest things. One of the shortest gigs I've ever had. I only did that for 3 or 4 months. But yeah, that was definitely a good post. One of the worst gigs. I've talked about this also in Pennsylvania. When I worked for Allied Barton before they sold, I did security on the turnpike, and it was in this like area kind of off the turnpike where you're off the beaten path. You're in this like wooded area, and they had these fences so that the construction crews and road crews could like turn around, because once you're on the turnpike, you can't turn for like 25, 30 miles. Dude, that was like sitting out in Jason Voorhees country. It was terrifying. And you were out there from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. I absolutely hated that post. So that would be the post that I hated the most. Next question. This is about the Israeli contract for Constellus. Says, was looking into this to kind of get my foot in the door. Any pros and cons to this? I read on another thread a lot of negatives, but would love to hear from someone more recent. What were your actual shift links? What's the area like? How was the housing? Did you get a car to drive in your off time? Is there a penalty if you didn't complete the year? The cool thing about this question, the Israeli Guard contract with Constellus, is that I actually almost took this contract about 2-3 years ago. At the time, the rule is that if you were not recently out of the military and didn't already have your top secret security clearance, it was like $100,000 for the year in terms of your payment, but they were going to take half of that, $50,000 for your top secret guard card. And so what would happen is that if you fulfilled the 1 year requirement, they would release your top secret clearance on your guard card, and then you could work for other companies. So, for instance, Constellus, I think, is just another name for Blackwater. They've sold and changed their name. You've got Constellus, Triple Canopy, all these other companies that you can work for, basically doing mercenary work, right? So if you fulfilled your year-long contract, they would release your guard card, and then you could take executive protection or security details all across the world, and you would have this top secret clearance to be able to do that. But if you had not been in the military, or if you had been out of the military like me for a very long time to where your clearance had lapsed, then they were going to take, half of your pay. I think that you worked 3 months on and then had 30 days off, and then you finished out the contract or something similar to that. I think the hours for that contract were 16-hour days, and you live in a kind of it's not a hotel, I guess more like an apartment complex. You lived in kind of like an apartment complex with 3 to 4 other guys. So, your location and housing, you were with quite a few other people, at least 4 other people. I don't know that you specifically individually would have a car. Maybe one of the guys who was there a little bit longer, someone that's that maybe has been on this detail a little bit longer, might have access to a base car, but somehow they were getting you to and from the location where you were staying and back to the base. There was what was it? There was a physical, there was a medical, but then you also, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, you have to take a firearms test. And this firearms test is kind of extreme. So there's some videos out there. I'm not going to say what they have you do or what they are expecting you to do, but you can find security contractor firearms test for the Afghanistan post. I think there was a video out there for the Iraq post, and I'm assuming they're all pretty much the same. They're pretty fucking intense, and it's not easy. When you get hired for these contracts, they offer you the contract, you sign up, you go through your physical, you go through your medical and stuff like that. When they send you, I think that they actually send you to theater and you do your training and certification there. If you don't pass your firearms test and some of the other agility tests while you're over there, they send you home. I mean, it's like, if you don't pass it when you get over there, there's no remedial. They send you right back. So I think if you're young and you want to do something like that, I would totally do it. I don't know that Israel would be the place that I would go right now. But then again, if you have military experience and you want to get back into it, there's a lot of shit that's going to be happening over there, I would assume, in the near future. And if you're young and you never went into the military, but you want to experience that kind of lifestyle, have at it. If you're older, if you have a family, I don't think it's for you. And it's a long contract. It's a year long. So, but I did look into that and I was offered that same contract. What is the other one? Okay, hang on a second. Give me 1 second here. Since I'm streaming in this mobile side, there's a small gap. This is I can't see the title of this, but the guy is talking about being put back on night shift after only being moved to day shift for a small amount of time. So this guy says, I'm beyond pissed, but I was on the night shift for 5 months. I asked for a transfer to day shift in December and finally got it after being told 1 more month for 4 months. We've all been there, right? Now, because my previous night shift lost another guy and my manager is too incompetent to hire another person to replace me, I'm being thrown back into my old shift until further notice. I'm getting sick of being a team player and have the job posting for a transfer sitting on one of my tabs of my computer right now, especially because now I'm being forced to work on my days that I need off. At this point, I don't care about my career development that I'm getting from being pushed around like this. I just want to be able to schedule shit without worrying about conflicts. I think he says conflictions, but conflict. We've all been there, right? We've all been there. The supervisor that's telling you, the raise is coming. The supervisor that's telling you they're going to move you to a certain shift. There's going to be more people hired and you don't have to work overtime. What can I tell you, bro? Welcome to security. Now, if you're looking to transfer to a different security company, I just want to warn you, same shit's going to happen over there. Like everything that you're talking about, everything that you're bringing up, each and every one of us that's on this stream right now, and anybody who would watch this stream in the future, we can all tell you that's just security. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate in every aspect of working in a capitalist society that the people that give the most, the people that are the most dependable, the people that care the most, the people that give the most effort, those are the ones that get shit on. Let me go full screen here. Hang on. Those are the ones that get shit on. Yeah, you're the team player, you get shit on. You're the team player, you're the one that doesn't get the shift that you want. You're the team player, you're the one that doesn't get the raise. Like the dirtbag will always win. And I don't know why that is. I don't know, what the reasoning behind that is, but everybody watching this right now would attest that that is the case, right? You can work for a company for years. You can work for a company for 6 years and not be able to get the shift that you want, not be able to get the time slot that you want. And some jerk off will come in right off the street. I don't work weekends. I got a family. Goddammit. I don't work weekends. And they'll be like, all right, yeah, you don't have to work weekends. Right? Well, I don't do nights. I got 10 years in the game. I'm a former sheriff's deputy. I don't do nights. And that guy won't have to work nights. Right? But the first time that you say, hey, I really would like to, I've been on this shift for this long. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. Like, can I eat? Can I get some of this? And your supervisor, your manager, the owner of the company will look at you like you have 7 heads, right? And it's frustrating. So for the person who is feeling this frustration, let it be known that I get it, that I understand and I sympathize and I empathize. But But if you leave and you go to another company, you're going to be the new guy. So you can go to that new company and you can make your demands and you can, stand by it, but there's no guarantee that they're going to abide by it. There's something about you. There's something about me. There's something about people who are that team player, who are that sympathetic, empathetic person to where it doesn't matter where you go. You will always be treated like that. Right? That has followed me to every location and job that I've done, from the military to private sector to security. If you're the guy that cares, that puts the effort in, that has the heart, that really gives a shit, you are going to get shit on. It's something about that dynamic. And I don't know what to tell you, buddy, other than it is what it is. You know what I mean? You can choose to not work in private security, or you can choose to go somewhere else. And I guarantee you would deal with this same situation wherever you go. Okay. All right. Let me look at some of these comments before we get out of here. Who is this? Elon Team says, amen. Okay. And says also what? Also a good belt that would hold on during the fight. Yes. I have told you guys that my recommendation for duty belts is the Condor Cobra belt. It's like a really thick gunner's belt. You do not need an inner belt, and it has a Cobra cuff or a Cobra connection. It's awesome. Okay. Next question says, looking for my first firearm. I'm new to this. My friend told me to go with the Jennings. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but they said it would be better than a Glock. Any advice? Yeah, don't buy a Jennings. Buy a Glock. If you're doing private security, if you're doing any type of work where you need a reliable, I don't want to say inexpensive, but decently priced gun, you need to go with a Glock or a SIG. Those two being the main two firearms players in the market. The reason why I say that is because it's like having an Android or an Apple. Right? You can go anywhere in the country. You can go to a gas station, a Walmart, you can go to a convenience store, you can find a charger, a cable, a case, anything, a screen protector, anything and everything. No matter where you are, you can find it for an iPhone and for an Android. You go in there with some, German cell phone company and you're not going to find shit. And it's the same thing in the firearms community. You want to make sure that if you need a magazine, you can get a magazine quickly. If you need a part, you can get that part quickly. If you need a holster, you can get a holster quickly. Also, when you're working in private security and you're working around other officers, if anything breaks, if anything is missing, if you forgot something at home, everybody around you, for the most part, is going to be carrying a Glock or a SIG. Hey, I'm short a magazine. Can I borrow an extra magazine? I got 3 Glock magazines in the car. Hey, my holster just broke. Hey, no problem, man. I'll call my wife. What do you got, a Glock 19? You rocking a Glock 17, right? Okay, you got this light on there. Yeah, I'll just call my wife, have her bring up an extra holster or an extra magazine or whatever. You have access to everything that you need, and it's universal. Do not go super exclusive. Don't go super new. Even things like Canic, which is like a really popular gun right now. There's just not a lot out in terms of holsters and lights and things that you need to actually perform your duty. So stick with the 2 main providers, which is Glock, which is SIG, even Smith & Wesson, like that kind of thing when it comes to actual duty stuff. Okay. This guy says, yes, we can. Democrats beat Trump. Okay. Yeah. All right. Whatever. I doubt it, but good luck to you. This guy says, I finally got to sniff the white stains. Okay. All right. People, good Lord. I have to assume that a lot of these people that come on my stream and just say random shit, they're probably like high school kids, Anyway, Isaiah, let's see what you got to say here. He says, Taurus G3, great affordable gun. I know, but it's under $280. It gets you going for the first timer. And Taurus has a new CEO and it's American made. And I know you're going to try and roast me. I'm not roasting you. I would not do a Taurus. I just say Glock and Sig because those are the two biggest companies, the easiest stuff to find. Absolutely the easiest stuff to find. Okay. Bronto Wedges says, if Safariland doesn't make it, I don't carry it. Absolutely. I'm the same way, man. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. All right. Well, that was my episode 3 of I Read It from Reddit. And yeah. Hey, guys, as always, thank you for being here, listening to me ramble and rant. And I hope that you guys have a great night. All right. Everybody, watch your 6. Be great. Pick up some Bones and Brew t-shirts or patches at bonesandbrewsecuritygear.com. Support your boy, support the movement. And as always, make sure that you guys be great. Okay. All right.
Boy, I got money in the bank, boy, let me see.